I've been choosing not to look in the direction of this topic, and it's the realm of all this stuff, okay? You know how people say where attention goes, energy flows. And I choose not to put my attention towards that. I have other things to do with my time and energy. So I focus on what does it mean to be human? What does it mean to be fearless? What does it mean to navigate an infinite universe? And how do you do it to the best of your ability? What does it mean to have credibility and integrity, dignity, all of these things? What does it mean to be self-respecting, respecting of others? What does it mean to be a professional speaker? Like, I have been going into this, conquering myself, building myself, becoming a strong self, and I still have walls to break down. And one of these walls is that I do need to put my attention here, because there's a great deal that I can offer humanity when I do this. It's like when bad things happen and you just look the other way because you don't want to draw attention to yourself from the bad thing that now is latching onto you. And now you're like, I didn't see anything, you know. It's like eye to eye with you. I see you and I'm going to deal with you. Other than, I'm not even going to go there because it's annoying. It's far too convenient. It's far too easy to just say it's Satan or it's the Draconian race. Or what did you do to work on yourself today? Did you just spend your time trying to figure out where the reptilian shapeshifters are? Or did you find yourself? Best use of human time. Best use of it. Well, my destiny is calling for me to explore what my destiny might be when it comes to these themes. And I'll tell you the story behind it, okay? So let me tell you where this all begins. Was with the Queen of England. Very strange beginning. I was doing a journey into a practical human curiosity, and I wound up finding myself dressed in my favorite Walmart gear, tennis shoes and socks and sweatpants and t-shirt, and I'm at Buckingham Palace, and I'm walking through this fancy door in this fancy room, and all these fancy pants, royalty, ancestors, and everybody's in here, and I'm just walking on in. This humble human, it's not trying to prove anything, and maybe I should try to prove something. It wasn't about that. It was about I'm coming in humble to this glorious, immaculate space where the Queen of England, who passed away, was present there. She was glowing with light. And then I saw these others in the royal family just start to become like tar in some way and just find their way to the ground. And all that remained was the spirit of the Queen of England that passed away recently. She's super famous. She number 2. I don't know. I need reminders. I can't remember. Okay. I even did a journey to her. I'll have to put a link in the description. Pretty interesting experience because she was saying that the royal family had reached its end. What end? What is the meaning of an end? So there she was. She became a doorway. I walked through her. What I saw next was a secret underground human studies type lab, okay? There was a woman. She was ridiculously pregnant. And what she was pregnant with was not human. It was some sort of mix. It's kind of humanoid ant thing, okay? In the spirit realm, there are no walls. You can see through stuff. So yeah, I have x-ray vision. So I'm looking in. I'm like, whoa, that's freaky. And then there's a man that actually literally puts food into her body. Not that her body could feed this, but that it was going to be housed within her body and then fed externally to internally in her womb. Well, this ant baby she dies, ant eats her, ant humanoid creature eats her, okay, and grows quite quickly. And my vision, okay, X-ray vision, is moving towards her soul that is actually going back and syncing up with a part of her who embraced the experience and now is returning back to herself from having this experience. It was pretty interesting because there was no like soul trauma about it. And obviously this is a very quick overview because I wasn't taking my time here. This was an hours of effort. This was a quick look into something that was supposed to be about myself. And then this is what shows up, which this is about me. This is about my calling, okay? It's just a weird way to receive the message. It's like, hey, spirit guides, why don't you tell me about writing a book? And then you're waltzing into Buckingham Palace, the Queen of England, and Secrets. It's like, but what about the book part? But this is what we're telling you. Okay. What do we do with this? Well, time. Time helps the human figure things out, right? So I'm figuring it out. So her soul was at peace with the life, and she was telling me she chose this destiny on purpose. Okay, she chose the secret lab. She chose the ant baby. She chose to be consumed. She chose the death. She chose all this stuff. The Queen of England, was it really the Queen of England? Was it some imposter pretending to be the Queen of England? I'm just following along to see where this is going, okay? But that's what it looked like, okay? And so the message was about destiny, and that she was telling me she was fully at peace with this destiny. She was choosing this path in order to support human evolution. Natural, like, are we talking about humans evolving into ant humanoid people? Like, what, we studying the magic of DNA here? Like, I wasn't trying to get to know too deeply. So the Queen of England, the one that passed away, right? She was saying that you can't wind up in a secret human lab. You don't just, oops, accident. No, you are destined to be there. Everything that you do in life is destined. Every nightmare is exactly where you want to be, okay? And she was telling me this about my day-to-day life, my questions. I'm right where I need to be. And I can choose any pathway I want, and what will return to me, like I throw it out there and it bounces back to me. Whatever I'm able to access is because that is where I'm destined to be next. All right. I really appreciated that message. Then she shows me something that annoyed me, because I'm very annoyed by these topics. You know, the Draconians, the Satan, like, it's all them. It's not me. I'm just a victim of them. You know, and we all want the updates on where those, the black cabal or dark cabal or some crap, where is that at? And, you know, in the process of controlling my life so I can feel a little bit more at ease, or even more scared about what I have no control over. Okay, that's why I get annoyed by that topic. That's why I don't even want to go into that topic. I don't even want to encourage people to think about that topic. But by doing that, then I'm denying myself a presence within that topic that I could offer about it, right? And so is that like my righteous do-gooder is actually not doing good without me realizing it? Okay. I see now. I see. Queen of England that passed away. I see now. Okay. All right. So just bear with me for a moment. I'm a little squirrely here. I'm like, okay, where am I at again on this conversation? Oh yeah, the fourth and fifth dimension. She was showing me. Okay, just bear with me, please. I'll spit it out. It just annoys me. But I'm gonna go there with it. And yes, I have come across this stuff authentically. So I have authentically come across this stuff. I've authentically seen it. I've touched it. I've dismantled this stuff. I have faced horrifying experiences. I've conquered horrifying experience by building confidence in myself, by knowing thyself is your powerful tool against any darkness. You can go hang out with the Draconian race. They can't do nothing to you because you are powerful in yourself, and they can't budge you on that. So they actually will respect you, which is the thing that nobody ever talks about, because who wants to go talk to some Draconian beings like face to face? I have done this. I have done this. I am not scared of any scary things in the universe. And most people don't know how that's possible. Maybe you should open your mind, open your heart. It comes back to you, okay? You are strong. You're strong. And the more you understand how the energy world works, which any being in a fourth dimension or a fifth dimension is not in our dimension. And maybe our consciousness is raising, right? But there are twisted influences at any dimension that you would ever decide. And you would say, no, they're closer to God, they're closer to light. Where really is that? I mean, I think we perceive it like a ladder, and then we're just raising our vibration. We're getting to higher realms where everybody's nice, but there are higher levels of perspective that have other types of inspirations. Only when you are in source are you a know-it-all truly, because you're connected to the material of all things. You're completely unconditionally loving. There is absolutely no judgment of the horrors that can happen, and anything goes, because the power of love is freedom, okay? And anything that is not freedom is controlling, is manipulative, is weak, is insecure, is fear-based, is all this stuff, okay? But that's a good thing, because we need this sort of life and death challenge here when we come into a human world and perceive all of these that are actually built upon the experience here, which is incredible, okay? So, sorry, I still haven't told you the thing yet. I'm delaying, I suppose. She showed me fourth and fifth dimensional structures. I'm doing this resistance thing again. Like, why am I have to get over this. Just bear with me. I'm going to do this, okay? And that there is influence here that is like evil or dark or twisted, and influences like councils of darkness, not councils of light, but councils of darkness that have a way of touching our world, like perceiving everything on the planet and touching our world with its own influence, with its own gross touch, okay? And then that gross touch, then we can feel it. We might not be able to understand it. We might not know what it is. We might define it as Satan or Draconian, or maybe it's the fears within yourself, your inner demons. What is that, right? That pulses through the inner workings of day-to-day life. Fourth and fifth dimensional worlds where infinite souls just hang out close to Earth, don't incarnate on Earth, but then play a role on planet Earth without having to actually be on Earth. What cowards, Oh, they're brilliant, huh? They're brilliant. Somehow effective. She didn't tell me that, I had to do anything with this information. She just showed it to me and it was like, yeah, so fourth and fifth dimensional realities where there's eternal souls playing a part on planet Earth. Like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I'm like, okay, yeah. I kind of am curious. Freaking already playing the strings of this puppet, So I told myself that, maybe it'd be an interesting pathway for us to go visit some of these places. My destiny now is showing me the way. And now I'm following the breadcrumbs like Hansel and Gretel to the witch's candy house. Okay, I'm following the breadcrumbs exactly where I'm inspired to go now. Thanks to Queen of England who passed away. Or at least persona of which. I'm not afraid of any of these things, but if I need to see what's calling me here. I need to see what this can become. And I want to offer an opportunity to sort of awaken perspective on personal power, and then viewpoints on what it's like to navigate energy patterns, energy worlds, consciousness, psychic communication, living beings. I don't get to control the outcome here. All I can do is say, let's go to these structures and then just see what opens up, okay? And we're going to do this together. I'm making this little introductory video in order to tell you about a thing that happened and tell you what I'm inspired by it. Destiny is calling me forward to find myself in a place I like or I don't like, but we'll be there together. You can come on with me. We'll find out what happens. I do want to mention one more thing because it's been on my mind. So recently and in the past, I don't know, maybe like 5 different times, I woke up to what I can only describe as like an astral prison or an energy facility or a space where imagine your soul is an apple tree. And then imagine someone just plucks an apple from the tree of yourself. What all did they take, really? An apple. We're the whole apple tree. We got plenty of apples to go. All right, so plucking an apple from you, but then placing the apple into their own creation. Like you, the resource, you, the infinite energy, you, the soul that is an infinite energizer bunny. You know, you never run out of energy. Now, if your energy can be influenced to express a certain frequency, that frequency can actually feed living consciousness that actually eat frequency and thrive off of it, okay? We do this too. We actually thrive off of, I'm sure, and hopefully not, maybe you don't know, maybe you can imagine knowing. Some people actually feed off of making other people angry. Is that really what they're feeding off of, or is the thing that's influencing them to feel angry and then them taking their anger out on another person, that person getting angry back, and now we're in this battle of never-ending anger, and it's just like, yummy, delicious. Okay, so yeah, there is every biome, there's every creature, there's everything out there, okay? That's why being self-aware is so important, because once you're self-aware, what really influences you except your inability to fully open your perspective, because being human is like a lifelong journey of awakening, okay? So I've woken up in facilities before where it's like a soul fragment, like the apple plucked from the tree. Like there's just, I don't know, like lots and 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 lots, okay, of souls that are actually put into an energy structure. And that energy structure is creating like a low-key torture. And it's like a low-key torture, so it doesn't really affect your day-to-day human life, but it would inspire you to just feel more less than more than, kind of like, you know? And so if you can take the resource of human beings or their souls or energy, you can somehow create a structure to house now the resource. Now you can mine that resource, which is us. All right, to feed what? I never followed the trail to see what was feeding off of us, but I've dismantled those facilities, and they're just on and on. Like I don't know how many. I don't know how long this is going on. I don't know, but it is a weird thing, okay? And I woke up to another one recently on purpose, though, okay? I was actually, I had this vision thing. I was doing this journey in my own time, okay, that I'm telling you about, Queen of England that passed away. Then I did this other journey just to do some self-healing on myself, which I had this like energy structure around my third eye and my crown, like my head was just sort of in a structure. And I was working on breaking this energy down. It was weird because I found myself waking up in a place where I was connected to a bunch of souls in this place, and it was linking back to the strange journey I just recently did. And I don't know if there's just an energetic collective theme going on right now at this, but it was one of those facilities, and I dismantled that facility, and I got to thinking about this. So what do they look like? I mean, all right, this one was like a diamond structure. And let's just say a little shaving of your totality, which is super, like it's infinite. Like you could take a tiny little freckle off of your infinite soul, and that would be infinite energy. That tiny little freckle would be infinite energy. So how do you harvest a soul exactly? And how do you really do that? All right. So somehow, some way, our collective agrees to give up aspects of ourself to feed other creative forces of the universe, because this stuff can't happen unless you give your power to other forces, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. In some way, this is the balance of the universe. Why is it like this? I don't know. But the only way you're going to get in there is if you gave up, if you agreed. Your destiny is to be in the secret lab, okay? Your destiny is to be in the facility. You agreed to this. You wanted this. You're trying to help here. Or, in my case, I was really enraged. I was really enraged because in some way I was like baiting myself. Like I was on purpose choosing to put my soul in whatever gruesome energy spaces that I could, that when I would continue to wake up in this life, I would wake up in these spaces so I could dismantle them, that it would be my calling to do so. Because I can't dismantle something that's not called to be dismantled. But this energy stuff is made out of so ridiculously pathetic and weak because it's based out of fear. Like fear is the weakest energy in the universe. It's only powerful if you're afraid. That's how fear works. It convinces you, right? But if you're not convinced, you're fearless. You're actually like the strongest force in the universe. That's why nothing can hurt you. But you have to know thyself to understand that kind of fearlessness. Okay? So waking up in here, it was almost like a shaving of a diamond that was next to a shaving of a diamond, a diamond, a diamond, a diamond, a diamond. All the energy was really tough and really structured. It was beautiful looking, actually. And so it's like being in a chair. Does it really look like that? Or is that my human brain's translation of the frequency? So I was just sort of like hooked up to this chair, and I'm opening my eyes like, whoa, what the heck is this? And I'm starting to look around. I was like, oh, there's a soul. Oh, there's a soul. I'm looking through my X-ray vision, looking through all these layers of beautiful diamond-esque energy. But we're stuck like in a beehive and all these little pods, okay, that create like one big, massive, cool diamond structure. But it's all just like mining, farming our energy. So that's what one of them looked like. Another one, this was really complicated. This was way back. But there was a fabricated soul. This was before AI was a thing, okay? That it was like a computer. It was like a fabricated soul. And then we were just in this big, massive, infinite space. And we were, again, in like a strange chair that was like a pod, okay? And so you're just sort of like asleep in a pod. It's kind of like Matrixy in that way, where he wakes up and he's like in this pod full of pods. And then he gets shot out in this like liquid tube and stuff. It's like being in a pod next to a bunch of people in a pod, and they're just like all soul skin flakes, okay, of infinite energy skin flakes, okay, kept in a sleep state. And so this strange, I guess, fabricated soul, I could tell it was fabricated because it didn't have an infinite understanding. It was, in a way, like, it was the weirdest. I haven't come across anything quite like that since then. Actually, I haven't come across anything quite like that before. You see why I just need to be doing these journeys with all you guys so we can explore this stuff together. But we're going to explore it with fearlessness, with personal power, with like a intellectual approach to it, okay? I'm not going to tell you convenient things. I'm not going to encourage you to feel afraid or triumphant about anything. It's just like have a neutral ground and a self-discerning place. This is for you to reflect upon, right? That's my goal here. Because this stuff can affect people, and it can become their entire life, and it's not for me to decide what's right or wrong for you. It's for me to share what I'm inspired to share. But I do choose care, okay, when I talk about these subjects, which is why I haven't, okay? But then the caring has come back to becoming a better person, just at every front, like whatever I can do to build me in some way. So here I am, like coming full circle to this moment. So this was like a strange pod thing, and I can't remember it. It was in 2016. That was when I was having a lot of these strange experiences. Another one was like a meat grinder place. Everybody's being tortured. It was so extreme. That was the loudest, most horrifying one I'd ever found myself in. It was built through many layers of like I just saw planet Earth, and then I saw these like scaffoldings and like a strange meat processing thing, and it was just forever and ever and ever and ever, because souls can't die. So you just like torture souls, but souls signed up for this, whether you want to believe it or not, whether you like it or not. You can't have an experience you didn't choose to have. Okay, it just doesn't. Oops, shouldn't have had that experience. How did that happen? Because you wanted it. All right, whether you get it or not, you did want it. Okay, so I'm just making this message to share some things that I recently experienced, talk about destiny a little bit, talk about some steps I'm going to take with all of you, because I will be doing journeys. That means I'm just going to enter an altered state with my special eyes, okay? And then in that altered state, I will, the frequency key, okay? The intention too. Let's say go visit a fourth, fifth dimensional structure. What am I called to dismantle? Or what am I called to know about this? Like, is this Draconian? Is it like, let's go meet some Draconians? Like that, we're going to start from somewhere. And that can be thousands of journeys. I mean, how vast is it? So we just start with what the next inspiration is, okay? From that inspiration, then there's another inspiration. And then that happens. Okay, so stay tuned. Some cool journeys on the horizon here. Thank you guys for being a part of this with me. Hope you're all doing well. If I can help you one-on-one in a session, I'm a professional. I solve the riddles of your life. You just have to tell me what you're curious about, what you want help with. We can explore anything. Everything is connected to an infinite radio station. All I need is your goals. What are you curious about? I use that like a key that unlocks the door. And then we get to experience what the deeper meaning is. This is all information that can be translated and can be transformed, and it can uplift you. Be very empowering. And I'm all about lifting you up. I'm not here to leave you wondering about anything. I try to come full circle on all this stuff so it feels clean, okay? I'm not going to leave you hanging. It's not my thing. So you can book a session at my website, abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. Bye for now.